Hello again, Steve here with a few words of thanks, mostly to a few people who've helped me along my freedom walk in the last few days anyways. Since I left Saskatoon, I had spent a week there with family, which was great. Opportunity to reconnect with the family and to rest up my tired feet and tired legs and so on. And right now I'm a few hundred kilometers east of Saskatoon, holed up in a little hotel called the Southside Motor Lodge in a town called Wynyard. I could call it a small town, but on the prairies it's actually a big town. It's probably a few thousand people. And it's the 11th of May, and it's snowing pretty fiercely outside. You could almost call it a snowstorm by now. So I do reserve the freedom to, check into these little hotels that I find along the way when the weather's inclement, because I do carry a very small pack. In fact, I've reduced the size of my pack to about 25 pounds, specifically so I can walk more easily and so that I can take the weight off my hips. I realize because of a nerve condition I have, I can't carry the weight on my hips. It's got to be all on my shoulders. Therefore, I got to minimize my weight, and I camp out when the weather's good. Otherwise, I'll get out of the weather. I did walk for 25 kilometers from the last town yesterday, and a lot of that was in the heavy driving northeast wind. But I have good rain gear, but I mean, to be able to camp in that, it's pretty nasty. It's cold too. I mean, to be snowing, it's down around zero by now. Quite a change. But I digress. That's why I'm here in this little hotel room. So, as a precursor. But I wanted to, speaking of sleeping in out of the weather, the first night I left Saskatoon, I stopped at my good friend Rick's place, and Rick and his wife were there. I met his son was there too, the grandson, their daughter. Had a great visit, and they let me sleep in their camp. Actually, their son's camper. So thank you for letting me sleep in your camper there, Kane. That was great. So I want to give a thumbs up to my friends for showing me that hospitality and that great opportunity to connect and have a good visit. Because a lot of what I like to do along this walk is to connect with people. I spend many hours out there on my own. Do happen to be a loner, but I do like to connect with people when I get the chance. Speaking of connecting, a little bit further down the road, in the town I was calling Viscount, but I was corrected, it's pronounced Viscount. And when I get to these little towns, which are close to, they're usually really old railway towns, because the railway runs close to the highway. The town's usually sandwiched between the highway and the road. So I usually walk through the town to see where the old main street was, to see what's on there, little cafe, stop in, say hello to the locals, what have you. But I'm walking up this street, main street, I guess, of Viscount, and there was a lady walking towards me, and I can usually tell from a distance if somebody's going to talk to me or they're not. If they're not going to talk to me, they usually go to the other side of the road and they got their head down and they're just kind of trucking along, and they're gone, right? This lady was working her way across the street, walking her dog, big smile on her face and so on, and she was kind of a person like me in a way. She's got a bit of a journey on her life, right? And her name is Maggie Blue, and she had a very interesting story, and I didn't know this actually, that she was First Nations, or what we used to call Indian, North American Indian, and most people are aware of the residential schools where children were taken out of their homes and put into religious schools. Well, the ones who weren't quite school age, they were just then given up for adoption to people, to whites or people who were non-Indian Christian families, I guess. And that was her situation. And so she never really felt at home there. She couldn't go back to the reserve. That was, she was taken away too young. So she's kind of somebody who's really feels like she's gotten a home, and she's got a journey of justice. So she got the idea of freedom. I mean, that freedom is important to her. So we had a great chat, and I want to thank her for the conversation, and she actually bought me breakfast at the local restaurant, which was great. Finally, I wanted to say thanks to my family, of course. When I arrived here in this town yesterday and got this room here at the Southside Motor Lodge, my family, my wife and son and daughter drove out from Saskatoon, 2 hour drive, two hours and a bit. Drove out here and they visited me for the evening and brought me some treats and so on, and a bunch of hugs and so on, and took a few pictures right in this room. That was very special, because I don't get a chance to see them very much these days. I'm on the road. Other than, thanks to new technology, modern technology, Skype, text, telephone, and so on, there's always that availability. But yeah, I just wanted to say thanks to, and of course, a blanketing thanks to all those who find interest in what I'm doing, who like, subscribe, share, and what have you, what I do on Facebook, to get the message of freedom and the message through the message of friendliness and of course, resulting in peace and resulting in goodwill and so on towards one another, which to me is a precursor to freedom amongst ourselves. So, just wanted to share that and say thanks to those people. And it's been great sharing again. I'll have many things more to share while I'm out on the road again. Hopefully tomorrow if the weather turns. Talk again soon. Bye for now.